If you're waking up already tired and going to bed even more exhausted, I get it. There was a season when I was so tired I didn't even feel like a person anymore. The coffee barely worked, the days blurred together, and by bedtime I was mentally done. This went on for a couple of weeks until one afternoon when I was laying on my bed, completely drained, listening to my kid play in his room. Something inside of me just felt I was missing out spending time with him. So, in that moment, I just made a decision and I decided to change my habits and to seek ways to get my energy back again. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I did. And I know you will find something that will work for you and give you back the energy you long for. And I promise they're all doable, even for a tired, overwhelmed mom like you. If you're new here, my name is Julie, and I help Christian wives who feel worn out in their homemaking, motherhood, or even marriages to rebuild emotional and spiritual strength so they can become joyful, free, and whole again, even if your circumstances don't change. I would love if you can press that like and subscribe button to join this community. Let's talk about something a lot of us cling to when we're exhausted. And that's coffee. Now, I'm not here to tell you to throw away your favorite mug because I love the ritual of a warm drink in the morning too. But I want to invite you to rethink when and how you're using caffeine, because I found out the hard way that my coffee habit was actually making me more tired. I used to love drinking my coffee first thing in the morning because it gave me that little boost I felt that I needed. But what I didn't notice at first was the crash that would hit a couple of hours later. I'd start strong, then suddenly feel foggy, sluggish, or irritable again by 10 a.m. And guess what I'd reach for? More coffee. And this cycle would continue. Due to my health and having heart palpitations, I switched to decaf. And only then I realized how bad caffeine is. I didn't experience that feeling of sluggishness by 10 a.m. anymore. And of course, after a while, I didn't crave coffee anymore. Now my body just wakes up at its own pace without any spikes and crashes. I know you might be thinking, nope, it won't work for me. Just try it for 2 weeks. If it doesn't work, go back to drinking coffee. But I am almost 100% certain that it will work. Consider it a challenge if you're brave enough. Try it, and after 2 weeks, come back to the post and let me know if it helped you to feel less exhausted. Now, the very first thing I do when I wake up is drink a glass of water. Yes, even before my decaf coffee, your body has gone 7 to 8 hours without any water. And the first thing it needs in the morning is not caffeine, it's hydration. And a bonus step that helped me even more, I started adding electrolytes to my water, especially on busy or hot days. Electrolytes help your body absorb and actually use the water you're drinking. So instead of the water just passing through you, it fuels your cells, supports your brain, and keeps your energy more stable. This is especially helpful if you're breastfeeding, pregnant, sweating a lot, or just feeling constantly drained. So drink a tall glass of water within the first 15 minutes of waking up, and a pinch of salt or a natural electrolyte mix. And just wait an hour before you reach for that coffee, even if it's decaf. Just let your body wake up gently, like it was designed to. Don't shock it with caffeine and then expect peace to follow. This one change, hydration first, decaf instead of full caffeine, and adding electrolytes, they've made a noticeable difference in my mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical energy throughout the day. And I believe it will do the same for you. So please try it. And if you're listening to this thinking, yes, I need more of this, I want to invite you to my free webinar where I share 5 powerful tools to help you calm your nervous system, slow down, and throw off invisible burdens that you've been carrying, maybe even for years. These are the tools I wish I had when I was living in constant overdrive, overwhelm, and running on fumes. They'll help you create space to breathe, to reset, and to reconnect with God's design for peace. So, if you're exhausted but you know you can't keep living this way, then I would love for you to sign up for my free webinar, as I know you will walk away feeling lighter, clearer, and more equipped to step out of survival mode. So another thing that I changed, there was a time I'd wake up already behind on the day because I started the morning by snoozing the alarm, and I tell myself it was just 5 more minutes. I'm too tired. I deserve that. I only need 5 more minutes. But those 5 or even sometimes 10 minutes weren't actually restful. They were draining. I drifted in and out of sleep, and by the time I finally got out of bed, I felt groggy. I felt behind, rushed, and frustrated with myself for doing it. And then finally one day, I just forced myself to actually wake up with the first alarm. And it was surprisingly not even that hard. It's a mind shift and an action that you don't think about, you just do it. And the most surprising, my energy actually improved. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. When you press that snooze button, it's like trying to avoid the day, which we all know is just impossible. So why not just start the day better? If you struggle with waking up and getting going, there are a few small tweaks that help me make the shift. The first one is disable the snooze button. Yes, you actually can. Honestly, I did not know that you could, but my husband showed me. So just disable it and take the temptation away completely. The next one is only have one alarm. Yes, some people have more than one alarm set, and I know about you. Disable all and only have one. The next step goes against what everyone tells you to do, but this helps me to wake up in the morning. So maybe it will work for you or maybe not. If I wake up, I will immediately check something on my phone, which is always the weather. This is just to have that light in my face to make sure that I'm actually awake. And the next one is something that me and my hubby recently did, and that is to put our bedside lamp on a timer. When the alarm goes off, the light goes on. I'm not going to lie, it's super irritating having a light shine in your face when you wake up, but it helps. It's winter, so it's super dark outside when we wake up, and it helps me not wanting to just crawl back into bed. Sometimes the first step out of exhaustion is quite literally your first step out of bed. Okay, so the next one, now I know you've probably heard 100 times. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But if you're anything like me, you've also rushed through it, grabbing toast, cereal, or just your third cup of coffee while feeding the kids. But I want to invite you to pause and really think about this. What you feed yourself in the first hour of the day sets the tone for your physical energy, your focus, and honestly, your patience, especially as a mom. And the same goes for the kids, because being a mom means hearing, "I'm hungry," about 100 times a day, and saying, "But you just ate," about 100 times a day. And that constant back and forth of making snacks, cleaning up, and dealing with cranky moods because their blood sugar is crashing, it wears you down. When I switched to a protein-rich breakfast, it helped. And yes, it's a little more effort than pouring cereal, but it keeps me full longer, and it keeps my kid full longer too. It probably reduces hearing 100 times that I'm hungry to about 50, because kids will always be kind of hungry. Feeding everyone something substantial first thing in the morning is a form of peacekeeping. It helps avoid the nagging, the meltdowns, and the overwhelm. And I used to feel like I don't have time for this, but once I started doing it, I realized it actually doesn't take that much longer. Also, here's something I didn't expect. Eating real food in the morning made me crave less junk during the day, and my energy stayed steadier. So if you're exhausted all the time and you start your day with sugar, carbs, or caffeine, then please try a protein-rich breakfast, not just for you, but for the whole family. Now, I used to feel completely defeated by my house. Like, no matter how much I cleaned, it was never enough. But I found something that shifted the way I approached homemaking, and more importantly, how I felt mentally in the space I live in every day. It's what I now call my anchor space. I spoke about it in one of my previous videos as well. Your anchor space is the one place in your home you spend the most time in, and when it's clean, you feel calmer, clearer, and more grounded. For me, it's the kitchen countertops. Instead of trying to clean the whole house every day, which, let's be honest, is impossible with children, I give myself 10 minutes and I clean only that one space. No distractions, no overthinking. I tidy, wipe down, and make it spotless the best I can. This simple 10-minute cleaning of my anchor space has brought me so much mental peace. If that space is clean, it feels if the whole house is clean, even if it's not. It feels that way, and with exhaustion, that's sometimes all that's necessary. Because what usually happens is we look around and think everything needs to be done. So we do a little bit here, a little bit there, and nothing ever feels finished. And that only leads to mental clutter and not just physical mess. But when you give yourself permission to focus on just one space, you give your mind a break. You create a spot where you can sip your coffee or sit with your child and feel a sense of calm. It becomes your reset zone, your anchor space. When the rest of the day feels chaotic, you can come back to this space and remind yourself, I'm okay, I'm not behind, I'm choosing peace. You don't need a perfect home to feel good. You just need one space that feels like peace, and you can build that in just 10 minutes a day. So ask yourself, where do I spend most of my time? Where does the chaos get to me the most? And start there. Make that your anchor space. Now, there's something powerful about finally admitting I'm not just tired because I'm a mom. I'm tired because certain things in my life are slightly draining me. Most of us walk through our days completely unaware of what's depleting us and what's actually filling us back up. I want to encourage you today to start paying attention and start noticing what gives you energy and what leaves you feeling empty. For me, a cluttered house is a big energy drainer. If every room is chaotic, I feel mentally scattered. I lose my patience faster, I feel behind before I even begin, and I start believing the lie that I'll never catch up. That's why having my anchor space, the one clean area in my home, helps me feel calm. If that space is messy, my mind feels messy. So now I guard that space because I know the energy cost if I don't. Another big one for me, mental noise. If I have too many to-dos swirling around in my head, I start to shut down. So I've learned to write things down and keep my mental load light, even if everything doesn't get done. I've also learned to notice what actually fills me. For example, spending time with my friend, even just once a week, that energizes me. When I get to have a real conversation, laugh, and share honestly, I walk away re-energized. So here's what I want you to do. Not just listen to this, but actually reflect. What are your top 3 energy drainers? And what are 3 things that truly recharge you? Because when you know this, you begin to make better decisions about what to say yes to and what to let go of. It doesn't mean you'll avoid every hard thing. Motherhood will always have tiring moments. But when you learn to build your life around what fills you and limit what drains you, you begin to recover energy that you didn't even know you were losing. And let's be real, there are some things we can't escape. Diapers, dishes, discipline, they're all part of the calling. But when you make space for the things that restore your soul, whether that's movement, creativity, or connection, it shifts something in your spirit. You stop surviving and you start living again. I made a video about biblical boundaries that I feel will be applicable with this habit. if you struggle with mental barriers on boundaries and how to set them without feeling guilty. I'll link it here and you can watch it after this video. Now, there was a time when I'd wake up and one of my first thoughts would be, what am I going to make for dinner? This one question that I had no answer for stressed me out more than it should. What do I have in the fridge? What can I make that everyone will eat? Do I even have time to defrost something? It was a constant pressure in the back of my mind throughout the entire day, and I'd waste so much energy thinking about it over and over again without actually starting to do something. Eventually, I realized that this wasn't just a small annoyance, it was a daily energy leak. So I started to plan out dinners once a week. Every Sunday, I sit down and look at the week ahead. I write out a meal for each evening. I keep it flexible but clear. No guessing, no 5 p.m. panic. I also created a list of meals my family actually likes. When I try something new and my family loves it, I add it to that list. That way, I'm never starting from scratch. And I also started involving my husband in a casual way. I'll ask him, what are you in the mood for this week? Or pick 2 meals that I make that you really enjoy. This habit alone has taken so much pressure off my shoulders. To be honest, I don't enjoy cooking all that much. I've always preferred baking, but when I have planned ahead, I don't resent the cooking. It doesn't feel like a last-minute fire I have to put out. It feels like part of our rhythm, like I'm caring for my family on purpose instead of in panic. So, make a list of 7 easy dinners for your family. Write it on a whiteboard or a piece of paper, stuck it on your fridge. You'll be amazed at how peaceful your mornings feel or the days feel when you know that one question already has an answer. So, another thing that I have learned, and I learned it the hard way. You're not selfish for needing a break. You're a human being with a soul, a nervous system, and emotions that needs time to breathe. And the reality is, no one will give you that space unless you decide it matters. For the longest time, I thought I had no time for myself. I only have one child, but honestly, that can be even harder sometimes because my son sees me not just as his mom, but as his friend. And when I try to step away for a moment, he'd say things like, but who's going to play with me? Or, I'm lonely. And the mom guilt would creep in so fast. And here's what's hard to admit. Sometimes our kids will try to manipulate us emotionally, not because they actually know what it is, but they know how we will respond to it. So I started seeing it for what it is, and I tell him, Mommy is still here. I need 10 or 20 minutes, and then we can play again. And the great thing with kids are, if you are consistent, they'll accept it, they'll adapt, and they'll see it as their new routine. Now he knows when I say it's mommy's 20 minutes, that means he can play alone, look at books, or do something quiet. It became his new normal. And here's what's key. When you do take that time, don't scroll your phone. That usually makes you feel more drained and disconnected. Instead, do something that actually helps you come back to yourself. Read a few pages of a book, work on a puzzle, paint your nails, or write your journal, because you know you cannot pour from an empty cup. We keep giving and giving and giving, but we never take time to receive. So let this be the habit that helps you to receive again. If you're in that season where motherhood feels heavy, where exhaustion is your default, and every day feels like survival, I want to personally invite you to my free webinar. I'll walk you through 5 tools that will help you calm your nervous system, slow down, and throw off invisible burdens that you've unknowingly placed on yourself. These are the same tools that help me step out of constant overdrive and into a life of peaceful, God-led motherhood. If your soul is crying out for rest, then I believe this is for you. Just click the link in the description down below. And a little reminder, When you are filled, your family gets the best of you. Not just what's left, but the best of you. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't, please press that like and subscribe button to join this community and share it with another wife who you feel might need this encouragement today. I hope you have a blessed and energetic day today.